Woo! It is nipply out here this morning. Come on up, son. About 50 degrees out here. Oh, well, before I get into this morning's topic, just want to say in 2 days begins Dogtober. And what that is both of my channels, I will take a percentage of my ad revenue and donate it to one of my local dog rescues that I work with. They transport dogs from the southern states on up to Minnesota, where they get adopted, because they have a shortage of dogs up there because they have good spay and neuter laws. So I have 2 channels, this channel and my channel, The Dog Man. I'll put a link in the description. I would appreciate it if you could go over there. Same type of content as I do here, but it only has like 5,800 subscribers. The more subscribers I get or viewers over there, the more YouTube shares it. And I'm giving 100% of the revenue from that channel. And then one video on this channel, because I'm going to do 2 a day, will be donated to the rescue. So let's make this Dogtober the best one ever, guys. I know you can do it. I just know you can do it. Well, have you noticed, I don't know, last 20 years, how crazy people seem to have gotten? They fly off the handle at everything. Road rage. You got these terrible shootings. Everything. What could be the cause of that? What is different now than, say, 50 years ago? Now, there's a lot of things at play. Nobody really knows anything, how to pinpoint that. Mental health issues have skyrocketed, so that's one thing. They don't have a place to put these people or to help them. That's another reason. But, one thing, we've had a few of these shootings the last few days. Something that really pisses me off is the first thing that the media wants to do is find out if they're a veteran. And if they're a veteran, that was the root cause of it. No, I don't believe that. This last guy that did the church yesterday was a Marine veteran. Yes, he was over in Iraq. He was a mechanic, okay, and they're listing, he's got all these medals. Those are basic ribbons you get when you go overseas and on those campaigns. He didn't do anything special. He didn't see combat. He didn't have a combat ribbon. So it had nothing to do, and he was going through some issues, I guess, with his kid, some health issues. So nobody knows what triggers anything. The guy didn't reach out for help, apparently, and why people think they got to do these things. And it's always, you rarely see a guy my age going out and going off the handle like that, flying off the handle. You just don't see it. Because I think we have a different set of coping skills than the younger generations do, which can be probably related to single parent homes. Now, I grew up what I would say is a normal home. We would get up in the morning. My mom would have breakfast prepared. We would sit at a table. We would actually sit around a table, all of us. Well, my dad was always gone because he always had jobs where he got up way before anybody else. We would eat our breakfast and off to school we went. In the evenings, we would all gather around the dinner table and eat dinner. And, I had a mother and father present in the home. Discipline was in no shortage. If you screwed up, you got disciplined. And I think that makes, and you don't see that anymore. You got single mothers screaming at their kids, and they don't have coping skills themselves. So I got a list. I made notes. I do a half, research on these things, but nobody has the answers, man. Rising cost of living, everything involved, man. Trying to find a house today, you see these ads, only $250,000. 20 years ago, you know what you could get for $250,000? You don't get nothing today. You'd be lucky to get a 3-bedroom house for $250,000, and it wouldn't have any land. They act like this is a bargain, oh yeah. Prices here, I was looking at real estate in my area yesterday, and I just could not believe what they were asking for some of these dumps. 1 acre house, and it needed work. It was, the floors were ripped up and water damaged and everything else. They're still asking $130,000. I wouldn't have given 10 for it. It was in worse shape than this place was when I bought this, and I only paid $10,000 for mine. $10,500. But I think financial strain is causing a lot of stress. That, I mean, you see people going off the deep end for small things. You know, what I would consider small things. They don't realize that when you're younger, it's a struggle. Okay, it is a struggle when you're younger. It's not supposed to be easy. And a lot of young people have the mindset they're straight out of school, they're going to start making six figures. And it's never been that way. Okay? It's never been that way. And say you do go to college and you become a lawyer or a doctor, you're still coming out of that with debt. You will have debt the minute you graduate school. So, where they get that mindset that life should be grand and you should have it's got to be Hollywood or something, feeding them these ideas, because it's just not that way. A lot of them, they probably seen their mother struggle trying to raise them. So where they get this big plan that life's supposed to be this and that, it's meant to be a struggle, I think. If you don't struggle, you don't learn. And if you don't learn, you don't know how to deal with the stresses when things are bad. And, we could say, well, social media is highlighting these things and making it seem worse than it is. And maybe so. Maybe they are making it out to be worse than it is. People will argue we didn't have cameras in everybody's pocket 25, 30 years ago. So all the bad things are getting filmed. You're not seeing the good things. Well, part of that's true, but you can just tell just by living life. And, anytime I go to the city, you see a change. You see a change in people. People have changed, and there are more people in these cities. There are more people on the earth. And with more people come more mental problems. Yes, a lot of these things you see on social media come from people with mental issues that are being untreated. And people are filming it and putting it on there. But I was watching something the other day. Somebody was interviewing some lady, and she just blew up and just punched this lady for no reason, because of a question. People are just set off. You just never know what's going to set people off anymore. And they've made mental health like almost impossible for people to get. And if you can get it, it's so expensive, nobody can afford it. So they don't seek those things out, and they go turn to drugs and alcohol, which, if anybody ever knows anything about those things, only make the matters worse. If you are depressed or you are angry about something, and I'm going to go get a 12-pack of beer. Time you're halfway through that anger is festering. You're getting worse. You're getting madder. So the root of the whole problem, I don't know, man. Nobody really knows. It's got to be, families have changed. You don't have the fathers in the homes anymore. You don't have a mother that's home all day. They're out working, trying to raise their children. So when you leave your kids alone with social media and TV, what are they going to learn? The schools certainly are not teaching anything. And if you guys have been watching my videos, you know I am dead against public schools. I am dead against classrooms where there's 50 kids from 50 different kind of social, we need to change our education system. And until we do that, you have no control over what they're learning. And, a lot of these teachers, and I'm not saying anything against school teachers. They have a hell of a job to do, but some of them do get in there that have ideas that they don't go with the main flow of things. You got so many problems now with races hating each other, the whites and the blacks and the Mexicans, and everybody hates each other. Now you got this immigration thing going on where we're trying to get all the people that illegally crossed into the United States out. So that's creating trouble and violence. And I'm telling you, it's going to come to a head. The government, they're only going to deal with so much, and they're going to start cracking down. So you're going to start seeing uh, a military style policing of the country if this keeps up. I don't know what other answer there would be. How are you going to control it? You can't have people running people over in vehicles. You can't have people going and shooting up churches. Now, this seems to be a trend now. I got one right across the street. Believe me, I keep an eye on that place, but I'm going to tell you right now, that would not be the church to do that, because probably half those men in there are packing, and there's one behind the pulpit. I guarantee you. That's how Southern churches are. But they have been the victims as well. I'm not saying everybody needs to strap an iron on their side. I don't do that, well, at least where you could see it. But I am not going to be caught as a victim either. And anytime I go to the city, you can bet that I'm ready. I'm protected. It's just the way it is, man. Also, the news. People read the news. The news. You got to understand. The media loves stories like that. That gives them something to do. You don't see feel-good stories as the headlines. Somebody does something good. That doesn't make the headlines. It may be buried way down on the page, and it's always been that way. There's never been feel-good stories put on front pages of newspapers. There's never been feel-good stories on the news. They always lead with the most horrific, controversial, whatever story. That's what you're going to see first. And that's just the way people are. I notice in my videos, when I put up videos that are humorous or talk about a good thing, they don't get views. People don't want to see that. They want to see stuff like this, about the violence. And, why is that? So I guess that's what I got to put up, but I'm not going to do it every video. I just can't, because I have to have a balance where I ain't going to put all that into my life. Why is my voice raspy today? Must be the cool air. I don't know, guys. But I can guarantee you, like I said, if the violence doesn't end, these protests, and it's not protests, it's riots. If they don't end, you will see the military on the road. You will see them on your streets. It's already happening. And you can blame anybody you want in the government, but what are they supposed to do when, if you have 5 kids in your house and they're in the middle of a fist fight, you're going to break that up, aren't you? You're not going to allow that to break up your home, to destroy your things, to have your kids getting hurt and having to take to the doctor. The government isn't going to allow that either. So if we want to remain a free country, people need to, I don't know, get some anger management or something, man. You need to just find something to do where you're not reading the news all day long and festering in all the problems of the country. Some of the things that are going on today, I just shake my head. I can't understand why there's people that feel the way they do about certain things. I mean, everybody has a right to their own opinions, but why we would want criminals in our country, terrorists in our country, why they're not putting people in jail that are committing crimes, that makes no sense. And those kind of places are the ones that they're going to go to first. They're going to put an end to that. So if you think somebody goes in and steals from a store should not be prosecuted, you're nuts. You are absolutely nuts. They should be locked. I've said this in other videos. I'm for building prison after prison after prison. Fill them up. Don't give them great conditions. Put them in jail for shoplifting. Put them in jail for everything. Okay? That's the only way to stop all the crime. That is it. That is the only way. You can't not put them in jail. What are they going to do? They're going to go out the next day and commit crimes. Because why? Well, they can get away with it. And they don't have to work. And they can steal from people that have worked. Well, that's coming to an end. Whether you think it is or not, it's going to come an end. You're forcing the government's hand. That's something we should never do. Is force our government to come in and change things. And I don't know what, if I was president, what would I do? I'd start building prisons. I tell you that. And you would go in there for the minorest. The minorest. Is minorest even a word? The most minor offense. You'd go in for a while. You'd know there has to be, for every action, there has to be a reaction. And right now, we don't have reactions to actions. And when you have that, you're going to have a lawless society. So I guess that's my rant for the day. Don't know if any of it makes sense. I never know till I get it on the editor. But I don't know. Go over to the other channel, subscribe and view it. Here's why. YouTube, if you got more people watching it, they recommend it more. They'll say, hey man, this guy's got something going on over here. And then the advertisers will pay more. And then the dogs will make more money. If you don't like dogs, that's fine. Maybe I'll do cat February or something. I don't know. I like cats too. I just don't have any. The last cat I had here, his name was Satan. I ain't kidding you. I got the first sofa. I bought it, brought it in here, and I'm kicked back, and this cat just decides he's going to jump up in my lap and smack the tarnation out of me. Named him Satan right there on the spot. Thanks for watching. Happy trails.